Yeah. Here we are, back in a boxcar. Don and Greg getting a little too close rather than far. They love each other, but they'll never say they do. Even though they share shoes. That's not the only thing they share. Every week they get inside a car and stare, talking about movies and games and stuff, and then inevitably love is made.
Love is made.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I said you could open the show. I said also not to sing about anything weird or imply anything that doesn't actually happen here. So
yeah, this is the last time we bring you onto the show, Ted.
Yeah, Ted, get the fuck... You know what? Go ahead and get the fuck out of here, Ted.
All right, thanks a lot. Thanks. This is really fun. I just want to plug my show. It's Ted and children. It's me and my family, and my wife's dead. I can't. All right,
I don't want to. No, I don't care about your dead child podcast.
That's really enough, Ted. Thank you very much for the opening. We'll see you later.
Talk to Freak.
Wow, really sorry about that opening. To you, Greg, and you who's listening. I just thought I'd give Ted a shot because everybody needs a shot sometimes, and he seemed like he's really down on his luck. That tattered shirt he had on. I mean, Greg, you and I would never even, as two homeless dudes in Chicago, I don't think
you wouldn't catch me dead wearing something that ripped up and
no,
nasty.
Thank you. And how many years ago do you think that shirt was from? I mean, we're talking well out of fashion.
That shit probably he bought like early 2000s, like 2003.
Totally. Cycled back, enough time for it to have cycled back into trendy and then out again, you know?
Yep.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. But anyway, that's, sometimes we'll do that. Greg and I, when we meet in the week, we'll get in the boxcar, and if we ever cross paths with somebody who seems to be down on their luck, sometimes we might let him come in and try the opening.
That was poor Ted. He works at a law agency in the Loop.
Law agency in the Loop and in Anytime Fitness at night to help pay for his kids' Lunchables and stuff, you know? So
yeah, he just seemed like a real sad sack. So we were like, you know what? Why don't you do a little music with us?
Come on in, man.
I'll give you a little beat. I'll change it up.
Yeah, and then
we'll
we
change
like,
it up. I'll do some sick like.
And he did, and I was just here dancing, and we were like, Ted just opened the show, man, and we figured we'd give him a chance to plug his show, and then it just went off the rails so quickly. I didn't follow it all the way there.
Well, speaking of rails, you are now listening to the Boxcar Buddies.
Boxcar Buddies.
Wow, that's where me and Don come in. We're your two friendly hobos of Chicago by choice, and we like to find some fun old video games and movies and any kind of distractions,
content,
from the world of terrible things.
We try and escape into any sort of content that we can.
We're modern-day Houdinis, but without drowning in a glass box.
Or getting punched in the stomach with an ill-timed breath combined with it.
Or swallowing 300 pounds of oil.
Or eating any kind of bug.
Or being put into a giant human blender.
Or trying to bake anything.
Yeah.
Including myself or a pet into a giant pie.
Speaking of baking, woo!
Boy, is it hot in this boxcar.
It is a warm day, buddy.
Very warm. We've got a lot of windows in the boxcar. There's about 6 windows in this 20-foot car. And
it feels more like it's one of those cheap RVs that you see in like any trailer park.
Yeah, or even like a mobile greenhouse. It feels a bit like there's so many windows. The heat and the sun is just shining right in there, and the heat is really just staying in here. We are definitely baking.
It's sticking around like a bad fart.
Yes, and it took us a little longer today to set up our equipment, so we were both moving around, had to get a long extension cord. That took a while to find, feeding it out the door, plugging it in.
Walking the 7 miles to an electric outlet, convincing the guy to let us plug in so we can actually get some kind of like electrical charge.
Yes, thankfully there's a Circuit City within a 7-mile walk. They're not doing any business, and their lights are still on, so they've just got electricity asking to be burned.
It sounds like they're just like giving it away. Like come charge your phone.
It's absolutely. I mean, hey, if they're not selling anything, why not just give people a break? And that's what they did. So we plugged this in anyway, but anyway, our movement and all of that really did not help the temperature inside this car. And I'm actually going to go ahead and admit that I've got my pants off already, and
I've been naked for the last 3 days.
yeah, I don't think the shirt's going to last, and Greg and I are probably, at some point, you should just know that we'll be fully nude doing this podcast. So,
but here's the magic of podcasts. They don't have to see our depraved bodies.
And we won't describe them for you.
We won't
in
describe
detail.
our supple nut sacks as they gently caress these wooden chairs that we had found inside these boxcars that are sticking very, very firmly to it like a cheeseburger on a griddle without any oil.
We're not going to do any of that. I'm not going to talk about each individual roll on the side of both Greg and I cascading unto themselves with little sweat beadlets forming underneath like the butter of nature and just sheening in the sunshine, glistening, and now starting to actually smell. We're not going to talk about any of that stuff.
No, we're just like two human hourglasses just constantly dripping and going along the curves with time.
Yeah, and we're glued to these chairs, so there's no way to flip us over and restart.
Nope, I am.
I know. I don't think that chair's coming undone. We're gonna have to wait for it to get dark and for a few hours to pass before.
Or we need a ladle and some olive oil. Either or.
That would be fine. But anyway, normally Greg and I will like to meet up every week and talk about some stuff. And so this week I wanted to start off by talking about a movie that I saw. I was posted up outside of a Best Buy again. I was up in Skokie, walking through Old Orchard, catching some free whiffs of some of the great food they've got up there in restaurants. And what's nice is that they have electronic stores and 2 movie theaters that are always playing movies and selling old DVDs and stuff like that. So I wandered into the crappier of the 2 theaters. It's about 11 at night, and they seem to be like carouseling or cycling through older movies, like movies not super old, but old enough.
Enough that people forgot them already.
Absolutely. And this, as such is the case with this movie that I watched. When I sat down in there, and a little trick, I will tell you, I snuck a bucket of popcorn out of the trash can on my way in, dumped it out, ripped the corner just a smidge, and I took it up to the counter and said, "Hey, my popcorn bucket ripped. Can you get me a new one, please? And fill it up." And guess how quickly they did that? So quickly they didn't even look a second time at my tattered outfit or my dirty shoes. They didn't do anything like that. I just had an armful of popcorn and
a couple empty boxes of Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah, just to smell them, even like lick the cardboard, taste a little bit of that.
Pull out the little plastic bags because you know how like the fucking movie theater candies, they have another bag inside the box, and
Absolutely.
It's like, this is redundant.
And it's redundant, and how the chorus of crinkling plastic inside movie theaters during a crucial part of some movies, and all of a sudden you got somebody just struggling with their candy. It's like, oh, please. So, no, that didn't happen. This theater was pretty much empty except for me and my popcorn and the empty Sour Patch Kid boxes. But the movie they were playing was called Keeping Up with the Joneses, an action comedy from 2016 starring Zach Galifianakis, Isla Fisher, John Hamm, and Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman herself.
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty impressive cast.
It really is. More impressive that this movie seemed to be completely under the radar, but rightfully so, because I have to say it's completely forgettable. It suffers from the thing that some action comedies can, which is not enough.
Can't make up its mind if it's blowing things up or trying to give you a good chuckle.
Exactly. There's not enough of either. The action was the action scenes were a little better. I will say just comparing the two. The action of the movie was better than any of the comedy. Zach Galifianakis, we all know how great he is in Between Two Ferns and the Hangover movies and stuff.
And Birdman.
Yeah, but that's when he is allowed to be his crazy self and to kind of, I'm imagining, improv a little bit, work around the script, bounce off of some of his co-stars. This movie, he was completely reined in. He was actually acting like a suburban, bored HR professional who's just, who connects with everybody and wants to be nice and sort of
And
falls.
when he goes home, he realizes how lonely he is, and
Right.
the only thing that keeps him company is the Japanese anime he downloads.
And his wife never comes down from upstairs as she crochets another scarf for herself, and he recognizes how he doesn't inspire the same lust as when
he
they
knocks
first got
on the
married.
door. Darling, have you finished that scarf? He opens the door, and scarves come pouring out.
Barreling out like a stuffed closet. He's bowled down the stairs, crying as he does.
As the scarves made their way down his throat, the last thing he said was, "Kono wa shitasu oremasu!"
Seppuku.
I don't think he killed himself. I think the scarves did.
Probably, yeah, and it would have been dishonorable anyway, so he doesn't get seppuku.
No.
Anyway, though, so yeah, Keeping Up with the Joneses, the premise is that Zach Galifianakis and his wife are a bored suburban couple. They've been married for presumably a long time.
Wait. Zach Galifianakis and Gal Gadot?
No, Isla Fisher. Yeah.
That would make more sense. I'm like,
I know. Right.
life is already bad enough to
Right,
me.
I
Why
know.
do you have to keep rubbing it in?
Right, exactly.
Why do you have to keep pressing your thumb down on my temple and just dig it in?
Come on. Yeah. It wasn't that. It was him. It's him and Isla Fisher, and then basically a couple, 5 minutes into the movie, they're on their cul-de-sac and they recognize that these new neighbors are moving in. This house, which has been on the market for a while, gets the sign taken down, and they become obsessed with the new couple that's moving in on the block. And when they finally see them, it's John Hamm and Gal Gadot, who
That makes more sense.
Totally. That's their chemistry was probably the most believable part of the movie. It was actually legitimate, like sort of their romance. If there's any bright spot you want to look at it in the movie, but like even so then they both couples kind of befriend each other. Isla Fisher follows Gal Gadot to a mall, and that whole interaction
Videotapes her.
She walks in on her in a dressing room, Gal Gadot trying on like lingerie, and so of course she convinces Isla Fisher to try on lingerie too, and then there's just this bunch of obviously sexual tension and like overtly sexual stuff. Two females trying on the lingerie.
Look at this. Look at Gal Gadot. She's so sexy.
Right.
And now here comes Isla Fisher. Ooh, she's not as pretty. Ooh.
Yeah,
That's the comedy, folks. You'll never be as pretty as Gal Gadot.
it's true. It's true. She's like,
I swallowed that fact years ago.
yeah. It's one of those things. You just got to give it up. We all have to give that up right now. I think. Like if parents are out there, like just look your kids in the face and just be like, look, you could be anything you want
You're
to.
no Gadot.
Except as pretty as Gal Gadot, because it's not.
You're not
it's
even a
gonna
John
happen.
Ham. Is your ham even big enough?
Have you seen Mad Men? Have you seen it?
Have you seen him without his underwear on? No one has.
No one has.
That man likes going commando. That's a true, honest-to-God fact, by the way.
Commando?
John Hamm goes commando. He doesn't wear underwear.
John Hammando.
Yeah, he's going ham all right.
Wow. Well,
Wow,
okay.
what's with that pork sausage in your shorts? Oh, that's not a sausage.
Where are your boxer lines?
I don't need them.
I haven't had those since I was 13.
Man, our John Hamm impressions are getting better every day. Let's try
think so.
Gal Gadot.
Okay.
Ooh,
I haven't had any boxer lines since I was 13.
that was really good.
Nailed it.
You fucking aced it.
That's Wonder Woman, right?
it.
Is that Wonder Woman?
Oh my god.
I got it.
It was like I was there.
I felt the lasso of truth in
World
my hands.
War One. Mm-hmm.
You were Chris Pine. That's who I was
I
envisioning
sure
talking
was.
to. Yeah.
I mean, I look like him.
Yeah, you do.
I got the eyes.
Even naked, even nude, you
I
look like
even
a Chris
spread.
Pine.
If
That's
I
where
could
I am
spread.
right now. I'm the place beyond the pines. That's what I'm looking at right now. Okay, so
That's code for he's looking at my dick.
yeah, and I'm gonna stop now.
Why? Does it intimidate you? Or is it because it's a little stuck?
It's stuck, and the thighs and that are enveloping each other. It's just the position that you're in right now is just not. It just doesn't look comfortable. So I can't.
It's like watching Play-Doh slowly melt.
Clayface in Batman. You know, like when he changes form.
Like when he made a daughter. That's what it's like.
Asexually. Popped off his shoulder.
I popped out a second part of me and it stuck to this chair.
Oh well, hey, congratulations!
I did it.
That's birth.
I'm Piccolo.
You did. Well done. All right, good for your race. Okay, so 20. Yeah. Keeping Up with the Joneses. Basically, that is kind of the climax of the movie too. That sexual tension I was just talking about between Gal Gadot and like Isla Fisher. They revisit that later on. They're in like a scene where they all need to escape from a situation, and Isla Fisher approaches Gal Gadot and just makes out with her, and that's enough of a distraction for all the bad people to be just looking away for them to save the day and stuff. It's
Oh
just
gosh, watch these two women make out. Wow. Oh my god.
what's happening in my pants.
I've never felt this before. It hurts.
Stop it. Yeah. So it's just a forgettable movie. I like Isla Fisher. I love Zach Galifianakis, John Hamm, Gal Gadot. All of them are great. Patton Oswalt makes a cameo as the villain, and again, like he was fine too. I like Patton Oswalt just fine. It's just that the movie as a whole is very forgettable. I might have laughed one or two times. There are some unexpected things, like Zach Galifianakis unexpectedly cuts his hand like on a bottle, like John Hamm just showing at the beginning, showing how cool he is. He opens a beer with his like wedding ring, and Zach Galifianakis tries the same thing, obviously breaks the top of the bottle off, and like just there's blood everywhere. And obviously that reaction from him, that it's really unexpected. Like that definitely made me laugh.
You can hear that Zach Galifianakis scream.
Yeah, you hear the scream, and then it's just like he's trying to laugh it off to be cool, and so it's like it's really that turns out to be funny. So there's like 2 or 3 funny parts, but it definitely leans more toward the action, and even that is not really great. It's very B tier. So like it was kind of like a combination of like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but not as actiony, and like and again the comedy's just really not there. So Keeping Up with the Joneses, leave them behind. Just forget about that.
Yeah.
Don't watch it, people.
Dang.
So I walked out of that theater with my tail between my legs, half a bucket of popcorn left, and looking for something better to do with my time.
Well, I can't tell you that what I did with my time was actually very worth telling.
Really?
But I'll do it anyway.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so a couple days ago, I decided, you know what? I got a little extra cash. I've been doing a lot of dancing.
A lot of dancing.
I've been doing a lot of dancing.
Posting up down in the parks, like in the Loop. I know you were talking about that.
It's making me trim. I sweat a lot. My hoodie is kind of like, it's taking a hit.
It's moldy now with the sweat.
It's stinky. It's very, there it is right there.
Hanging up right in the doorway of the boxcar.
I was hoping that like just letting like the sunlight and some air like hit it, but it seems to have had like an involuntary like reaction to it. So now what was once a nice gray hoodie is now kind of like a lime green.
It's patched with green areas. Yep. There's growth. There's growth happening on that.
Oh, I got new friends with me.
True.
But,
Scummy, Scummy's going to want to take a look at that.
No, probably. He can't have it, though. These are mine. You know what? I'm going to start my own little garden.
There you go. That's exactly what you do, because he would just take that thing and then he'd be like,
oh, I'm going to call you Veronica, and I'm going to put you in my bathtub, and I'm going to let you talk to me as I go to sleep.
That's like, great. Another plant friend, non-human friend for you, Scummy. Fucking seek therapy, man. He cannot keep...
Go on Tinder, man. Just find someone.
Right. Cannot maintain a human relationship. He's literally only interested in plants. But,
yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So anyway.
But in any case, I had a little extra money, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the burbs. I'm going to head out. I'm going to go to Arlington Heights. I'm going to go there for a little bit, chill out, maybe find a pool.
Yeah.
Just have a nice summer me day. I passed out, and I woke up in Oshkosh.
Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't realize how tired I was, but I clocked out.
Just slept on the train?
Just
boy.
Passed out.
Man, you got on the Oshkosh line, huh?
I guess. I'm not... Hey, man, I'm not originally from Illinois, so I'm not too great with these train lines.
I know, that's fair.
The worst part was trying to get back. That sucked.
I bet.
Because I got off the train going like, here I am, Arlington Heights.
Anybody?
I felt like a goddamn Bugs Bunny cartoon. I'm like, what is this?
There's probably more people in Arlington Heights than there are in Oshkosh, I'm guessing.
It was pretty empty. It was a pretty empty town, but you know what? I said, you know what? I'm not going to let that get to me.
Still your you day.
I am in Oshkosh. I'm going to hit the lake. So I walked a good, I want to say like 30 miles to the nearest lake. I think it's Winnebago. I think that's what the people were saying. They weren't too great about giving me directions.
No.
Or I think I wasn't too great at taking them.
Well,
Either way, I did use my finger gun a lot.
oh, the finger gun.
Yeah.
Lasers. Did you use your new shotgun setting?
No. I have a new setting now. Whoa. I got SMG in this bitch.
What?
Yeah.
Small machine gun. Oh, God, no. Wow, they're so fast. They're so fast they come out of there.
I know. It takes up ammo real bad.
I bet it's hot, too. I bet that's hot right now.
Let's try. I
can see the smoke rise. That's why I said that. It's that it looks like it's hot.
I thought it would be fine if I used my tongue.
All right, just take a minute. Again, same spot.
Liquid cooled it down.
Okay.
Anyway, I walk to the lake, and I see that there's some kind of like Star Wars event happening. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? So what they were doing was a movies at the lake. They had a projector screen, and they had this big giant tarp that they had put out in the middle of the lake. Wow. So that all 10 residents in the area could actually watch Solo.
On the lake,
because there wasn't really... I talked to one guy. He said that the nearest movie theater was about 300 miles away. That doesn't seem right, but okay.
Sure. You'll trust him. He's a local.
But it was an interesting fest. It was just 10 dudes, 10 portly dudes. They wore a lot of plaid.
Uh-huh.
And they were
overalls. They got overalls up there.
One guy had overalls.
Yeah.
He had candy in it.
No
he had
kidding.
Twizzlers sticking out, and he had an abundance of Twizzlers, and he was like, "Y'all want to go digging for Twizzlers?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!"
Wow.
And I just dunked my head into his pockets and pulled out some Twizzlers.
Man. That's dangerous.
Pulled out a couple rubbers, too. I don't know why.
No.
I don't know why he had those in there.
Were the Twizzlers in his butt flap of the overalls? That's what I'm talking about.
No. They were in the chest capacity area there.
Uh-huh.
Like a chest pocket.
Did you have a shirt on?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He did.
Okay.
It was a little smelly and wet.
All right.
Really wet.
All right.
Like, he just dunked it in the lake and then put it on and said, "This is my clothes for today."
Why would he do that?
I don't know.
Strange folk.
No, just a bunch of friendly people who really wanted to see Star Wars. One guy was dressed up like Solo the best he could.
Uh-huh.
He had a piece of black carpet for the vest.
Okay.
He slicked his hair back with some oil.
Sure.
And then he was like, "Haha, I'll shot first." And I was like, that was a stunning Han Solo impression.
So the movie they were showing was Solo.
Solo? A Star Wars story.
How low? Solo.
I'm not answering this fucking question.
Come on, man. Let's get it. What was the movie like?
Well, the movie was... it was a movie, all right.
Okay.
Watching it immediately, the first thing that came in my mind was, I can't tell if it's because we're watching this movie on the lake, that the projector is kind of fucking up and it's kind of dark, or this movie is just horribly lit.
Oh, man.
And it turns out it was horribly lit.
Oh, Howie. Ron Howard, why'd you do that?
Because you know why? Because there were fucking director changes, and it's fucking noticeable.
Oh, no.
It is so noticeable. Scenes where Lord and... Fuck!
Hey, it's okay.
I always forget their names.
But that's the whole point of the robot hand screen. You can just check it.
No, I don't want to.
It's the whole beauty of it.
I just want to remember these things for once.
It's one of the main reasons I was totally cool with you putting the screen into your robot hand.
Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. I always want to say Christopher Michaels. But it's Miller.
Why would you say that?
I don't know, random stew.
Sorry, I just decided to sweep. I saw the green sweater hanging
Well, you
out
can
there.
sweep your racist ass out of our boxcar.
Yeah, get out. That's enough, Stu.
Oh, ow, my back. All right, well, if you need anything, let me know. I'm out of work.
If I wasn't stuck in this goddamn chair, I'd fucking drop kick you.
Yeah, that's enough. All right, closing the door now. That is why we can't leave the door open with anybody's clothes hanging in there. We invite randos in. Phil Lord and
Christopher Miller.
Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. They walked away.
No, they were forced away.
Oh, they were elbowed out.
Yeah, Disney went, "No, your movie is fucking weird.
I saw this, and you suck."
The big white glove in the sky went up to the duo and just went,
"No, I'm flicking you away like Like a paper football, huh?
And don't come back here, you pieces of shit.
You got it, Goof.
Donald Duck is just tearing up their fucking contract.
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
But yeah, it's so noticeable between Lord and Miller's cut and fucking Ron Howard's cut. Because as soon as I see Ron Howard's brother, I was like, I can tell this is his.
I know you're doing it now.
Stop putting your brother in shit. We don't care about him. We get it. He's bald. We get it. Go away. I just kind of, I want to grab a broom and brush him away anytime I see him in Ron Howard's movies.
Do you need a broom?
I'll kill you.
That's enough. All right. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, Ron Howard's brother sucks.
He's fine.
Yeah.
It's just one of those, this is the director staple, the most boring vanilla director in the world.
Yeah, but I mean, he makes movies that make money. I don't know if Solo's going to, but Ron Howard normally does.
Solo made money, but Solo did not make anywhere near enough money because
for a Star Wars movie, certainly.
Well,
right?
because there's also the problem of they needed to reshoot a majority of the film, and they also wanted to make sure that the Han Solo impression was to the T.
Really?
That it was the perfect impression.
So what did you think of that, by the way? Because I've kind of read some things where people were said that I've read articles where they were arguing he wasn't doing a Solo impression, but he was doing his own take on the character.
He was not doing his own take on the character. That was for shit a Han Solo impersonation.
Gotcha.
From the way he gave his stares, his vocal delivery, his body language. It was very much a Solo impression.
Interesting. Okay.
It never, and that's something I didn't want to
Yeah.
It's something about this movie I knew going in that it was going to be weak, is that we're trying to get another person to pretend to be a character that is now officially killed off in the Star Wars franchise.
Right.
It was a fine movie, but fuck, was it ugly? It was an ugly looking fucking movie.
Man.
But aside, the cinematography stuff was really bad, but I liked everything else when it came to the special effects and it came to the costumes. The Millennium Falcon looks great.
Yeah.
Seeing the Millennium Falcon in its prime was really cool.
Nice.
Going into the cockpit and seeing that everything is
Pristine.
in place.
Yeah.
It's fresh off the line. This is a hot new car.
Dude.
It still has that new car scent.
Dude, I want to see that just to see the Millennium Falcon, man.
But that's something about this movie. It's just fan servicey shit.
Yeah, of course.
And it's giving a bunch of information about Han Solo that ultimately doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, of course. It's a total fan movie. Yeah.
So, for those who don't know the plot, a Han Solo story is about Han Solo becoming a rogue. It starts out interesting. I like that he's trying to save his girlfriend. I like that he's a pilot for the Empire. He tried his hand at actually being with the Empire. I thought that added a lot of depth to him. But then there's something, I don't know why, but there was a lot of emphasis on his dice. You know those
really?
golden dice? I'm like, why is there so much importance in this?
Maybe I can only think, and again, haven't seen the movie obviously, so this is based completely on the previous stuff, but just his gambling nature, his nature to take a bet.
Well, I think it's because the dice are a part of his ship. It's his fucking golden fuzzy dice. It's his ornament.
I see. Not actual rolling dice.
No. It's two dice on a chain.
Right.
It's the thing that Luke gave Leia in Last Jedi.
Yes.
It's Han's good luck charm or whatever.
Right.
But it's something so insignificant to the original movies.
Oh, totally.
That all of a sudden that there's a lot of depth to this item now.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Well, that's a perfect example of what someone might do trying to aggrandize a character who's now dead. What do you do when you can't mess with like the canonical stuff going forward? You have to take a small, insignificant part of that and blow it up to make it much more important.
Well, what I thought this movie was going to be the Kessel Run.
Yeah.
I knew that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's Han Solo's like first line he ever says.
Yeah.
That's how we'll tie in Lando. That's how he'll get the Millennium Falcon. All of that junk. But in terms of like character writing, I can tell this was the Ron Howard cut. His girlfriend character.
Was this Emilia Clarke, by the way?
Emilia Clarke.
Uh-huh.
Her character, she is the girlfriend on his home planet. They had been together for years. He's trying to get her off the planet because they're just like orphans that work for like a like low tier gang.
Okay.
There's so much happening in this movie, but at the same time, like nothing is happening. It's trying to make Solo's backstory so complex, but it doesn't work in the end because we know that Han turns into a jaded piece of shit until A New Hope. But the movie doesn't make him a full jaded piece of shit. What they do is constantly try to shove in his face. They're like, but you're a good person, Han.
Gotcha.
There are multiple times when his girlfriend says to him, you're a good person.
Yeah.
And just constantly saying it to him. I'm
so
like,
really just telling the audience is more
telling
what
the
that
audience,
is,
like,
right? Yeah.
And eventually he runs into characters that will eventually help form the resistance.
I see.
And they're like, you should join us. You're a good person.
He's
I'm
like,
like,
no, I'm the Empire.
That doesn't fit with any of Han's actions in this movie. He's a fucking deserter. He deserts the army.
The Empire. Exactly.
He's a
he would have to.
Thief.
Right.
Him and Woody Harrelson are thieves.
Speaking of this exact point that you're making right now as to Han's character and the movie pulling in one direction, whatever, another thing I've read about this movie is that supposedly this, and again, might have been just a stupidly worded article, like some fucking puff piece, clickbait, whatever, right? But one of the things this article said was that it further muddies the waters of the Han shot first debate. Is that kind of what you're talking about, or is there a specific thing that
I would
references
definitely
to?
say that just because this movie tries to make him sympathetic and genuinely trying to do something good, which doesn't fit his character if you pull into the original trilogies, because Han is not a good person.
And that is exactly, and the reason I brought up the Han shot first debate is that I want to state unequivocally, there is no debate. Han did shoot first. There is no question in my mind that Han shot Greedo in A New Hope.
And
it's always been
the
that way.
defining character moment. That's
exactly.
That's all you need to know about what this kind of person is.
Cowboy, man. He's gonna fucking shoot first. That's what he does.
And I thought what this movie was going to do was make him just like wet behind the ears. Like he gets betrayed a lot and he learns, and that's what makes him so like, I hate everything and I just want money.
Right.
But then that's counteracted by characters saying, you're doing good things.
You're a good person.
You're a good person.
Don't ever forget it.
I will say things that are good about it. Donald Glover kills it as Lando.
Love Donald Glover.
It's still another impersonation though, but he still does a good job. Chewie and Han's chemistry is great.
Yeah.
Chewie's introduction saw it a mile away.
Sure.
But it's done so early in the movie that there's a lot of time spent on the two of them actually forming a real friendship.
That's cool.
And I thought that was really well done.
Nice.
I'm like, okay, Chewie isn't ham-fisted into the story. He belongs here. He's part of it.
Right.
He's part of the crew. I even like Woody Harrelson's character.
Oh, yeah?
As Han Solo's like mentor figure. He's a really, really well-known scoundrel. Mm-hmm. And he spends the whole movie giving Han advice. And I like that they have like this like morality kind of thing of like we shouldn't really do that, and don't get your head up your ass, don't trust people. I felt like in the original cut he was purposely making Han more jaded as the story went along. And I wish it stayed that way.
Yeah.
But because the girlfriend's character, I guess, was rewritten and reshot to be the moral compass for Han, that he needs to be a good person for a character that will never appear in any other Star Wars movie. Unless we start making more spin-offs before A New Hope.
Which is very likely.
Is happening. We've got the Boba Fett movie. We've got the Obi-Wan movie coming.
Yes. Yeah. So I exactly.
What I think would have made this movie way better is to get rid of Han altogether. Just make it a seedy heist movie.
Yeah.
And I think that I would have had like no problems with a character being like, all right, you should be like a moral thief. Be like a gentleman thief.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I can... this is fine. This is the kind of shit that I've wanted from Star Wars now that Disney's like, okay, let's make more movies. Instead of just going, okay, what were traits of this character from the movie? Han has dice. He shoots first. He won the Millennium Falcon from cards.
Chewie helps him all the time.
Yeah. And there's no surprises in this movie when it comes to Han's character, because we already know that he's going to make it out. We already know that he's going to live. We know that Lando is going to be fine.
Yes.
We know that Chewie's going to be fine. And then all the extra added characters all die or just completely go away.
Yes, which is the struggle, or arguably the ultimate reason why I think if you dislike prequels, I think that what you just spoke to right there is kind of the ultimate reason why I think someone would argue prequels are pointless movies. Because when you make them after a movie which canonically comes after them in the story, there are no stakes, because as you said,
we already know the beats.
We know the future for those characters.
Yeah, we already know what's going to happen. Han won't die. Han won't get like seriously hurt or anything like that.
Right.
We're going to see him turn into the smuggler that we know. We know that him and Chewie are best friends. We know that he's going to get his hands on the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Like there was no surprise. There was nothing new going into it, and it's just like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so fine.
Middle of the road.
It's middle of the road. I didn't like it, but I didn't hate it.
Right.
I don't hate the movie.
You don't wish that you could have gone back in time and not seen it.
Yeah, because if it was a truly bad movie, I think I would have gotten something out of it, of like making fun of it all the time.
Sure.
But there's so little in this movie to actually make fun of, except maybe like there are like 2 or 3 lines in this movie that are just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
There's a character named L3. She's a droid, and she's like mega power revolution kind of robot. She wants to stand up for droid rights, but they do nothing with it.
Okay.
She starts a revolution during the Kessel Run, and that's as far as her character really goes.
See, that even bothers me in itself, because it's like, if you're saying there was a character who wanted that for droids back when this movie takes place, why would there never have been anything like that in the future of Star Wars?
Yeah.
That's the only character they've had like that.
So L3 goes constantly on and on about trying to get like droids to have equal rights. Something I thought was a little like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Lando and her are sitting in the cockpit together, and he looks at her and he's like, all right, I'm going to the back to get something. Do you need anything? And she goes, equal rights? And I'm like, what a thing to say to a musician and celebrity and entrepreneur as Donald Glover, who just made a fucking musical or a music video about fucking
oppression,
rights of black people in America.
Yes, exactly. I know.
What?
Stupid line, stupid character as it is, and the
I thought that was
delivered
one
to,
of the most
horrible.
ham-fisted, like, What?
Like can't you just see them in the editor's room too? Like, oh yeah, this is really gonna hit them. This is really gonna make our point.
This is gonna be so good. This is gonna be such a good writing moment.
Yeah, everyone in the theater is gonna clap right here. It's gonna be fantastic.
The 10 of us at the lake were kind of pretty silent throughout most of the movie. We're all kind of like.
Anybody jump off the tarp in the middle? Anybody just dip into the water?
One guy just started swimming.
Yeah.
He was like, this is boring.
Yeah.
And he did like butterflies.
Yeah, started doing this synchronized stuff with nobody else.
Lost track of him. Mm-hmm. I have no idea where he went.
That'll happen.
No one did, but we were like, whatever.
He's a local. He'll probably find his way home.
He'll find his way home.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he lives under the ocean.
Could do. Mm-hmm. Maybe he does.
Maybe he was returning. Maybe. Who knows?
So, Solo. Go see it? Nah?
I think Solo is not worth watching. If you already know everything there is to know about Han Solo just from A New Hope, then you're not going to learn anything new.
Yeah.
It adds nothing. It adds nothing to the timeline. It adds nothing to Han's character.
Right.
It's really contradictory.
Exactly.
There are good moments in it, but there are also a lot of bad moments.
Yeah.
And it puts it in this fine level of just it's here.
And just again, I haven't watched the movie, but just from what you just described to me, Greg, and from the original retouching of A New Hope by George Lucas, where he changed it and made it so Han didn't shoot first, so that Greedo fired at the same time or whatever. That right there was the start of the attempted and unnecessary redemption of Han Solo as a character.
When he redeems himself by the end of the fucking movie.
Exactly, and that's why it never needed to happen, and that is why, without any shadow of a doubt, Han just did shoot first. He's a space cowboy. Greedo is he's a galactic bounty hunter who had his gun trained on Han. If he shoots at all, Han is fucking dead. There is no question in my mind, there never has been, that Han's the type of guy that sneaks the gun out under the table and shoots him before he has a chance to fire the gun.
I mean that's kind of noted in the movie because, again, take the basic information we know about Han Solo and then make it 2 hours.
Right.
Man, don't you love seeing close-ups of these fucking dice?
Those furry little Millennium Falcon nutsack dice. Yeah, it sounds okay. So I'm Greg says
I wish this was just Lord and Miller. I wish they had their hands on it, because the moments where there are like jokes, I can easily tell it was them. Like when Han and Chewie first meet, Han speaks Wookiee. And that's how him and Chewie immediately connect. That he can actually speak Wookiee. So you hear Han just going, doing a shitty Wookiee impression. I'm like, that's good.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
And that goes into, like, the chemistry between Han and Chewie is great. The story is forgettable. All the other side characters, like, who cares?
Yeah.
Besides Lando, who cares? All the other L3... Woody Harrelson's character and the girlfriend character, they don't matter.
Right. In
the overall scope. They mean nothing.
Again, a prequel Star Wars movie, something that, just like Rogue One, we all know where it's going to end up, so there are no stakes. There just are no stakes for the characters you know and care about.
It's cool. Look, a whole movie to a throwaway line. Mm-hmm. Remember that throwaway line that Lando said? I won the Millennium Falcon, the cards. Blah, 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 blah,
it's the same thing with Rogue One. A lot of people died retrieving these plans. One line, which explained what happened, and they grew that into an entire movie.
Don't you need 2 hours to find out how they got those plans?
Don't you want to see that? Don't you want to not care about some characters and watch them do stuff?
You want to watch Saving Private Ryan, but with Star Wars?
And less evocative? You want that?
You also want it to be sad and dark and not for families, which is what Star Wars should kind of be for.
You want to stare at Forrest Whitaker's weird eye for half an hour?
You want to stare at Forrest Whitaker's taint?
Here's what he did. He tainted the movie. Just streaked it right up and down the camera for 45
Survive!
minutes.
And then he just placed it right against the camera.
Survive! Squeaked it. Squinged it right down the camera lens.
You could hear his eye fluttering like a butterfly. I don't think it would sound like a fart. It'd be more like tiny little wings.
It was like a motor. Yeah, okay. I
No,
gotcha.
not a Hannibal
Slurp?
Lecter.
Okay. Well, I'm sure it sounded like something weird. If it ever happened, which I'm saying it did. It probably did.
It probably did. Anyway.
Last thing I will say, Greg, is that it is funny that you bring up movies on the lake because summertime in Chicago, they're all about those movies in the park. And
That's not a lake, stupid.
It's not, but it's movies somewhere else besides a movie theater outdoors.
Nah,
So
that's true.
That's how I related it.
My Uncle Craig used to do that too.
Really?
Movies in my basement.
Oh, Craig.
Yeah.
How many people came?
A good amount.
Really?
Yeah, about 20 people.
Did the same
But
amount
the
of
numbers
people
would
leave?
get the numbers would slowly dwindle as it kept going.
People didn't want to keep coming back?
They just didn't show up.
Oh.
We don't know what happened.
Uncle Craig.
It's like, Uncle Craig, how come Derek and Jim from next door aren't here? I don't know there, kiddo. Just I guess they really like Ghostbusters too much that they just kind of like turned into ghosts or something.
That logic, Uncle Craig. You're crazy.
I mean,
he's the one with the big
he is
backyard.
my dad's brother, so
He's the one with the big backyard and the woods connected to it, isn't he? Yeah.
and the big heavy doors that lead to the movie theater in the basement.
Yeah. That's I probably wouldn't come to those, but
That was when I first watched Star Wars.
well, that's cool. I can see now why you feel about them the way that you do. I will. So anyway, movies in the park. I was walking down along Michigan Avenue. I was looking at the spit face people. I was panhandling. I had a little ball cap that I stole off a kid's head earlier in the day.
Drop kicked some people.
Yeah, just to get attention going,
Took a
just
dog.
to stir the pot a little bit. And so I'm walking and I hear, somebody's on a microphone in Grant Park and they're shouting about like what they're going to do and all that. And I saw these people dressed up as like Batman and like Joker and like all this animated stuff. So I was like, oh, this looks interesting. So I walked across Michigan Avenue. I weaved my way through the crowd in Grant Park and I just kind of plopped down in the middle, pulled up, a bunch of grass blades. So I had like something to chew on like as the movie was going. And so as
Something to refreshen your breath.
yeah, exactly. Like what was that? What's the pea thing? Like the garnish. It's like that you eat. That's like the
Poopery.
yeah. That's it to freshen your breath. Yeah, you eat.
Peppermints.
No. Parsley? No, it's not. It's some green stuff that people eat after they put it on plates and you're supposed to chew it and it's like a breath freshener.
A peppermint.
But it's green and leafy.
A mint.
Maybe it is a mint leaf.
Just a simple mint leaf.
Yeah.
Chew on this.
Here.
Aren't these kind of toxic in their original form? Eat it.
We have a barrel in the back. You want to get thrown in there?
No, I
You'll
don't
be
know.
swimming in the mint leaves there, kid.
No, I don't know why I keep going to this restaurant. Yeah, so I'm in Grant Park. They fire up the movie. The guy on the microphone says, we're about to present Batman and Harley Quinn. And it's this animated movie, came out in 2017. Let me go ahead and get the hand here going. I just
Don't
want to...
tug so hard. God damn,
Sorry.
I'm right here.
Sorry about that.
I can't get off my chair, man.
I'm just enthused. I was enthused, and I want to make sure I had a good angle so I
Fine.
can see
let
all
me
these
let me
things.
just scoot.
Yeah, there you go. That's better. Thank you. Oh, this is nice. We're so much closer now.
Yeah, I can touch you.
Okay, well, don't you slapped there on the bad part of my knee. So
I'm sorry. I thought that would loosen it up, but it looks like you are stuck on it.
I'm stuck on mine
like a
too.
fly on fly paper.
Yeah, it's the back of my thighs are just sort of rigid on this thing. It's not giving up. So Kevin Conroy plays Batman, classic Batman voice. Melissa, what is it? Melissa Ratch from the blonde from Big Bang Theory. She's got the glasses. She's short.
But Big Bang Theory is a show I hate with all
me too.
of my might.
Me too. But
I can't give you an answer.
All right, I'm just gonna say Rauch, Rauch, Melissa Rauch, and she voices Harley Quinn. And I will just say, to me, her vocal Harley Quinn was probably the best part of the movie. The movie it's 90 minutes, classic animated style and all that. It's not very good.
It's not great.
The writing of it is really not. There's a lot of sexualizing, not just of Harley Quinn, but there's this restaurant she works at where it's called Super Babes,
and they all dress up sexy as
slutty
superheroes.
Like it's really like, I thought that was kind of weird. Batman and Nightwing are very like later, as once you meet Harley Quinn and she's introduced to the audience, the movie really follows her like more than the two of them. And so she's got like the majority of the dialogue. Again, I thought Melissa Rauch did pretty good, but like the plot of the movie is that Poison Ivy teams up with this mini Swamp Thing guy called Jason Woodrue, Floronic Man. I guess is what
a fucking on the nose name.
Floronic Man, yeah, he totally.
But
is.
his real person name, Woodridge.
Woodrue, Jason Woodrue. I know you want to say Woodridge or Woodrow, but it's Woodrue. Woodrue?
No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either. I wish I hadn't even watched this movie.
I don't want to go near that plant guy.
No. He's like, okay. So yeah, that's what happens.
The whole plot is them going, who knows Harley? Who knows Poison Ivy really well? Oh, it's Harley.
Yeah.
Nightwing, go find
her. And then Nightwing and Harley Quinn bang. And it's so weird. Like, it was very unexpected.
I don't know what it is with the DC animated movies just making very uncomfortable, like, banging scenes.
It was so weird. And then it's like Batman catches them. So Batman walks in on them.
He walks on them, like, at the end.
But yeah, because they're, like, fully dressed. Like, when they start, Harley's in, like, her underwear, like, very seductive. And then when Batman walks in, she's in her full, like, Joker jester gear. Nightwing's fully clothed and she's like tickling the guy, and Batman doesn't even know what to make of this entire thing. He's just like, get up, Nightwing, stop banging Harley, we have to go somewhere. She probably has like 10 different STDs. Hold on. He pulls out like a little telescope thing that's shaped like a bat out of his utility belt,
and then he just stares deeply at his dick hole. He's like, that's right. You got gonorrhea now.
You definitely have crabs, buddy. Why don't you walk? I don't
Here,
want you sitting in the Batmobile.
Let me get the crab repellent spray.
They did, I will say too, they did make some jokes about Batman's utility belt. When they're first walking in the swamp, there's tons of bugs, and Batman starts spraying them, and Harley's like, oh great, like some bug spray, let me buy that, let me borrow that. And he's like, actually it's like a reinforced short laser wave or something. She's like, what? We're coming in the swamp and you don't even have any bug spray? And she rants and like says how useless he is, and Nightwing kind of cracks up, and there's like this pause. And then Batman just like whips out something else from his utility belt, and he's just like, you're probably low on vitamin B, and like hands her like a little pill, and she just like smacks it out of his hand. Like, there were a couple of jokes, there were a couple of one-liners in there that did make me laugh. I thought there were some legitimately, like, there were a few moments or exchanges which were funny. But kind of overall, the writing is like, there are a lot of moments that are like, what? Like cringeworthy a little bit.
Yeah, like the whole bar scene of when Harley has to sing so they can get information.
Yes!
That's bad.
It's totally bad. She sings an entire song, and this is after they ran through another full song sung by two other dudes. You could tell it was like they bought the rights to the song, and sometimes when animations
they needed to do was pad it out so they could fully
90 minutes.
That's what they did with The Killing Joke.
Oh,
you
really?
saw The Killing Joke, right?
Yeah, for sure.
The first half of The Killing Joke is fucking atrocious.
Yeah, it's just filler.
It's filler
just to get to 90 minutes. Yeah,
it's bad filler.
Yeah, and that's how you're totally right. That's how a lot of this movie is too. There's like I said, there's two songs, full songs right in a row. So you're talking about like 5, 6, maybe 7 minutes of screen time where it's just people singing and a few lines thrown in between characters at a bar. So that's very like tough to swallow. And then also just like there's like I said, the over-sexualization when they're in the swamp and they're trying to finally stop Poison Ivy and this Woodrue guy from releasing their toxin and like steroiding all the plants.
Their seed
yeah, exactly.
All over Gotham.
To save the earth, as Poison Ivy always wants to do. When they finally do find them, the ace in the hole of like of what Harley does is like she meets Pam. there's a little bit of sexual tension. Then they start fighting. The fighting becomes sexual because they start hitting each other like in the fucking tits and like in their pussies and shit. They just like start. So it's like there's that. Then at the very end, like Poison Ivy kind of ties up Harley and she's about to release the stuff, and Harley just wipes off her makeup and just cries. She just forces herself to cry, and then Pam starts crying, and then they hug, and Jason Woodrue comes in and finds them like hugging.
Harley and Ivy are BFFs.
That's
forever.
fine. That's totally fine.
Remember that?
I do remember it, and I'm fine with it. It's just it's so out of nowhere, and like like I said,
yeah, it doesn't help in the thought of the movie. You have to know about Batman lore itself to understand a lot of the plot points.
Yeah, for sure.
Understand that. All right, this is the good version of Harley that's in the comics right now, where Harley is now an anti-hero.
Yes, Joker is dead in this movie. Harley has left her life of crime and is trying to be a normal person. She's trying to play it straight, as she says.
But she can't because she's Harley.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Bits! Hey, let's go stop my girlfriend from spreading this seed all over the city, all right, Batman?
That was the one where Gilbert Gottfried voiced Harley
No, that
Quinn,
was
right?
when Danny DeVito came in. I don't like it, Nightwing. Its smug aura mocks me.
Why is your bulge just pushed up against your leather there?
Hey, Batman, you got any eggs in your belt there?
Come on, I'm hungry. I'm sweating over here. Let me get some food.
I'm sweating right here.
I know. Woo! We are baking in the boxcar. Anyway, also just going to say, I don't think Batman and Harley Quinn is really worth a watch. It's only 90 minutes, but as I said, there are so many better animated comic book movies out there.
Yeah, there are a shit ton of really good DC animated movies. You can pick any of them.
Absolutely.
Except The Killing Joke. Don't watch The Killing Joke.
Wouldn't watch The Killing
if you
Joke.
watch The Killing Joke, skip all the Batgirl stuff at the beginning.
Yeah.
Skip all of that.
Skip like the first 20 minutes easily. I think you'll be fine with that.
And then watch the rest of it.
Yeah. Also, Flashpoint Paradox. That's a fucking great DC animated movie. I like that one a lot.
I really like Injustice, which is a take on the Justice League where it's an alternative universe where our Batman, instead of being Bruce Wayne, is an actual vampire.
Yes.
Our Superman is actually what's the evil Kryptonian from Superman called again?
Zod?
Zod.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of being Kal-El, it's Zod's son.
Right.
That comes crashing down to Earth and,
That's
and
right.
he's in Mexico. So
Yes.
he's an illegal alien in two ways.
It's a... Exactly. Injustice is a good one too, but there are a lot of good animated DC movies. You can
watch the
easily-
recent Teen Titan ones. Those ones are pretty good.
Totally. Any one of those would be fine, but Batman and Harley Quinn, you can skip it. Also, go ahead and skip Keeping Up with the Joneses. Really not worth your time. Totally forgettable movie. The lure in of John Hamm and Zach Galifianakis and all that. Two totally funny guys. All four of them. Isla Fisher, Gal Gadot, all funny people. The movie is forgettable, though. Really reins all of them in. So don't watch Keeping Up with the Joneses either.
Yeah, and you can kind of forget about Solo. Man, this is like a depressing episode.
Sorry, guys.
Just three things of these
yeah.
weren't great. That's kind of bogus.
We like to recommend things to you guys. We like to at least we want you to know about the good things that are out there, which there are many. But this week it just turned out that both Greg and I saw some things that are not worth your time. So
They're just kind of meh.
Yeah.
They're either bad or meh.
Right. Certainly not worth going out of your way to pursue. If you
Yeah.
come across them or whatever, that's one thing, but don't go out of your way to looking for any of these.
I'm glad that we could have been their firewall to some bad stuff that they probably didn't even think about seeing.
That's what we want to do. We want to tell you about the good stuff and protect you from the bad. Guide toward good, block bad.
Yeah. We're your liver. We're cleaning out all the bad stuff while you get that yummy alcohol.
We're your white cells. We're your white blood cells. We're just fighting we're fighting the immunity game.
We're just two white guys who are sweating and stuck in chairs.
Yep, cellular style. I think both of us are cellularly molding with this furniture.
I see that you're kind of like enveloping your chair.
I'm folding over the sides of it now. And
you really
skin
are
is
like Play-Doh shaping into that chair.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. My spine is sort of bowing toward it, so I'm gonna go ahead and either have to break this off of me or fall down outside. I do want to open this door right now because oh my god, that breeze! It's so much better.
Oh well,
Do you guys need some Windex?
Ah, my eyes!
Ow! Fuck, Stu! Why? No, get out of here!
Oh, I'm shot again. All right, I'm gonna crawl and I'm gonna be out here. So just come and find me whenever you need.
No!
Because I'm passing out now, and this is
Great. That's.
Is he
quite
dead?
enough.
Is he dead? Please tell
I think
me
he's dead. Again, no liquid coming out of him, but there's a little
lot of sand.
spot of sand and dust bleeding out. So,
Well,
anyway,
how about we end the episode on a good note?
Yeah,
How about we talk to some friendos?
absolutely. Let's do that. You're absolutely right, Greg. We last week we did start this new thing where we want to we've been checking our email boxes again, and we want to bring you onto the show. Whatever, if you have something to ask, if you have something you want to tell us, whether it be good or bad, if you think we suck, fine, tell us. Like anything you want to say, or you're wondering, shoot it to us, and we're going to try and bring it to you. So last week we selected a message from one of you, and now we're going to do the same thing. So here we are. Email number 2 from... this one came from Gregslist at gmail.com.
Gregslist.
3 G's up front. That's where this one came from. Hi, guys. This one is from Jill from Ravenswood.
Ooh.
Hi, Jill.
Hi, Jill. Welcome to the Boxcar Buddies.
Thank you for writing in. It's wonderful to meet you,
We
Jill.
love random strangers joining us on the program.
I need more random strangers to fill my inbox. I need it filled.
I
you
need more
understand?
random strangers to fill my inbox.
Slide into the DMs. What are you doing out there? Slide into them.
Hi, guys. Just found your show. It's pretty weird.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jill. That's cool. Hey, it is pretty weird. That's us, though, you know? It's a weird brand. You keep mentioning a robot hand, Jill says. We do. Talking
That's
about yours.
me!
Talking about yours there, my man.
I've got a robot hand.
Greg has a robot hand indeed. How did that happen, Jill asks.
Oh, so for those who haven't been keeping in touch, for the newer listeners,
Yeah.
I have a robot hand courtesy of my own child. I created a sex robot, and in a robot revolution, as Robot stated it, it blended my hand into a fine pulp.
Yes.
So I had to handcraft my own new hand. Mm-hmm. Also, then a week later, before I could build the new hand, a robot ripped off my entire left arm. So I was kind of stubby for a while. But now I got a hand that I built myself.
Greg worked very hard using his feet and his mouth and crafted a robot hand, and that's stuck on the end of his right nub, and he's got no left arm. So he's one-armed, but that one hand is a robot hand.
I'm always armed.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
She asks then, what kind of things do you do with it?
Oh, this is a fun question.
All kinds of things, Jill.
Yeah.
I've seen some shit, I gotta tell you.
Well, this hand is quite handy because this was the third. Shut up. This was the third
Iteration.
Iteration. First one wasn't too great.
No, rubber, like rubbery. if I
Yeah,
recall.
it was just rubber, like from a mannequin.
Yeah, I remember because you came up from the basement and you were like, "It's flubber!" And I was like, why would you make a reference like that? That's just so weird.
I thought it was funny because every time I shook my hand, it would just go.
It flapped, it flailed all around the boxcar. That was a strange night. Didn't really get a lot of sleep there.
Yeah, it kind of kept us up
But
for a while.
But the second one,
The second one was my favorite.
yeah,
Before this one,
it
it was just a rock.
yeah, it was like the concrete.
So
model.
so I found a like a doctor's glove, like the rubber gloves, and I just filled it with cement, let it dry, let it harden, and then I took the glove part off and I wore the rock part. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that you needed like joints.
yeah,
so
he did.
that
It,
you could,
it didn't flex. It was just like
it couldn't do anything. It was just a hand.
a hand-shaped rock.
Yeah, and it couldn't really stick to my nub so well, so I tied it around my arm, like I kind of Kratos'd it,
Yeah.
like the chain of Olympus, but the chain of my hand.
Yeah,
And I broke that like almost instantly.
just crumbled one time.
Yeah, I tried using a toilet and I'm going for the flush, and as soon as I flick one of my fingers on it, just dust.
Real bummer.
Nah.
It was probably because you were using the concrete toilet too. That flush thing just didn't move. That also
Yeah,
didn't
it was
joint.
just, it was, I had a lot of concrete. Like, I just experimented.
Plus, I mean, why make a sculpture of a concrete toilet in a public park if you're not expecting people to use it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like, I need plumbing, and no one's going to let me use their plumbing.
Come on. I mean,
I have to buy something.
Do you know what
Yuck.
Yeah.
Capitalism. Gross.
Don't like it. Don't like it.
No.
Not for me.
No.
None,
Unless
thanks.
you give us your capitalism.
I'll take a capital.
Yeah. Yeah.
One.
I'll take a capital S with 2 lines through it.
That'd be nice.
It would be.
That would be lovely.
But in any case, what my hand can do. So, the first thing to note is that it has a laser in it.
That's number 1, right in the index finger.
Right in the index.
And Greg fires that
Unfortunately,
willy-nilly.
it is out of ammo.
Right now, yeah, because he used it earlier in this episode.
And I also unloaded the backup reserves into Stu.
Yeah, and that's just, that it is a laser pointer. He's got different settings, and it's great, but he does use it quite a bit. He's firing that thing off.
I use it sparingly.
I don't think it's sparingly at all. It's you require no provocation to fire that thing off.
What? That's not true. I only use it for self-defense.
I've seen you pointed at me all the time just for making
Yeah,
poor jokes.
I point it. I'm not shooting
you
it.
cock it, too. You load it.
I mean, if I'm going to point it, why not cock it?
I suppose the gesture is a little neutered if you don't. Yeah, I get it.
Like, what's the point? Oh, I'm just going to point at you? That's rude. How about a gun? That gets
rude?
it. No, it goes from a rude gesture into a threat.
There is authority when you do cock it. Yes.
Bingo. Bam.
All right, but anyway, yes, you run out of ammo more frequently, I think, than maybe some who are a little more conservative with it might.
No, I think conservatives like using a lot of ammo.
They do. Traditionally.
Yeah, usually in like the middle of the woods into like a piece of wood.
Where we live off the law of our land.
And also this 30-pack of Budweiser I bought.
Goddamn right. No wives allowed, and I don't need no goddamn concealed carry permit either.
Yeah, it's a good thing that this is a hand, because I don't think I would be able to get away with this in public.
And
normally.
you don't fit in with that crowd. You don't want to be a part of that crowd.
But anyway, this one's my favorite finger. It's the middle one.
Yep, he's always pointing that up.
This one has a knife in it. Mm-hmm. And I use this normally to shape my teeth.
Uh-huh.
Help give it that nice sharp.
Sharpens the fangs with it. Mm-hmm.
But I also use it to like cut things up and
food.
And I just love showing my knife. I'm like, hey guys, look, I have a knife.
It's a great serrated blade, thin but long, and it does a lot. It's great to have a knife like that on hand.
Yeah.
As it were.
The ring finger is actually a cigarette lighter.
Oh, is that what that's for? Mm-hmm. Oh, it's like a car one. It's you take like the top off,
because it was actually made from a car one.
Oh, I see.
I couldn't find a whole lot of like tips for this finger, and I was like, I'll just use this. Like most of the time, I was using like thimbles, and I was just shaping metal. This one, I was like, fuck it,
just pop it on.
Hey, you might need something hot.
Not to mention, you don't have to like spin the wheel to get the flame going. You can just light cigarettes that way. I mean, it's just hot, and I like it.
I mean, if only I smoked, but.
It's probably
maybe I could start.
Never too late to start.
Yeah,
do it. Whatever.
Yeah.
And, what about the pinky?
The pinky has a lot of spices in it.
Oh, that's right.
This helps
pepper.
me. I've moved this finger around a bunch, and I finally decided that I think the pinky is the best place to store my spices. Mm-hmm. What I call this is Greg's Blend.
Greg's Blend.
It's a secret, and it's none of your business.
That's right.
It's got salt, garlic, onion powder, paprika, a little bit of lemon pepper. Turmeric.
Thyme? You got thyme in there?
I ain't got enough time.
I don't think anybody does.
No.
So too short.
It's got sage, though.
Okay. That's sage advice. Greg's Blend.
Mm-hmm.
Less of a secret now, but that's tasty. I've had it on chicken. I've had it on beef. It's tasty stuff.
I've had it on raccoon.
I had it on grass.
I had it on a leftover styrofoam cup from Burger King.
Have it on packing peanuts.
Hell, just eat it.
Just eat it
like
itself.
Make sure you have water, though, because, you don't want to dehydrate yourself, but...
And the throat will get inflamed. There's a little bit of cayenne pepper at the bottom there, I think, and you want to have some... Yeah. Yep.
So it's a little spicy.
What about the thumb?
The thumb is actually how I do the gun settings. Check this out. It twists.
Oh, I see.
And then you can see right here where the base of the thumb. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little display
So
there
we
talking
got
about ammo.
standard, we got shoddy, we got SMG, and I've got 2 channels that are unused right now. I haven't labeled them yet. I'm not sure what I want to do.
Maybe think about something explosive. Just a thought.
Ooh, like a grenade launcher?
Totally.
I don't think grenades are like this small though.
Come out of your palm. If you could,
Oh, but that would get rid of the TV.
Yeah, you're right. And he does need the TV. I need the TV too, actually. I used that earlier tonight.
So thankfully also that there is Wi-Fi built into my hand.
It's a hotspot.
And I have an LED TV, tiny little screen here in the palm. So I'm able to watch any kind of television, movies, video games, whatever I need to, all conveniently in the palm of my hand. Mm-hmm. Literally.
And connect to the internet, do whatever we need to do. Sometimes we got to look up some stuff, text some people, make some calls in the middle of the night.
Take some pictures.
Anything.
I mean, there is a camera also in the nail of the middle finger.
That's right. You forgot to mention that, and which is why you might see Greg seeming to flick people off on the streets of Chicago.
No, I'm just uploading to our Instagram.
Just snapping some pics, taking footage without necessarily checking for permission or anything. But
one time I did it at a deer. He didn't like it.
No, not our friend right now. So that's to answer your question, Jill from Ravenswood. Those are the kind of things Greg does with it. Just to finish the email, she says, how did that happen? What kind of things do you do with it? It sounds dangerous. It is.
Thank you.
I think it's dangerous. It definitely.
Thank you.
Presents danger.
Jill sounds like she's got a real good noggin.
Yeah, good head
She's
on
a
her
good head
shoulders.
on her shoulders.
Smart lady. Mm-hmm. Don't go pointing your hand in people's faces, she ends with.
Don't go telling people to do things that you want them to do.
Okay, well, you're just pointing that at the piece of paper that we printed out, so it's not... I don't feel that's not threatened. But
if I had ammo, I would have already wasted it.
I know, but I'm still holding it, and I just want to finish it. Jill from Ravenswood, so thank you, Jill. P.S. Bring Draco back. Bring Draco back.
I guess people want Draco.
I
don't want Draco because he'll eat us.
I think that's pretty inevitable. He is, as nice as he tends to be, Draco, the dragon from Dragonheart, if you don't know. He... We've run across his path a couple of times.
He's always him in the face once.
Absolutely, but you kind of had to because he was
trying to nibble at us.
Gets a little out of control. His appetite will rule him, and we just kind of have to deal with it.
He seems like he's going to be friendly one moment, but if you catch him when he's hungry, bye-bye.
It's like a snake. That's the dragon thing, man. I mean, I think his stomach just takes over, and he's just going to eat.
Yeah, if his eyes are cloudy, run away.
You don't want any part of that. But
no.
Thank you for wanting a part of us. That was our email for today. Thank you, Jill from Ravenswood. And thank you for listening to us. Again, just real quick, one more time, don't watch Keeping Up with the Joneses, or Solo, or Batman and Harley Quinn.
Boy, 3 movies
that you can feel free to avoid. Yeah, that's just fine at best. Fine at best. But again, thanks so much. We're going to go clean up the dust pile that was Stu, and we'll be back again next week.
I'm going to find a way to get off this chair.
Yeah, good luck. You do that. I'm going to... Let me see what you're going to do. What are you going to do there? Oh, it's ripping. The skin's ripping. Oh no. The flaps are stuck to the chair.
Free. Oh, this hurts so bad.
Your skin is ripped off the back of both thighs. It's still on the chair. We got to wrap those up. We got to get to the clinic. It's going to be this. I think it's going to be the same for me, though.
I'll be fine.
I think it's going to be the same for me.
Just do it. Just do it. Just like a Band-Aid.
Here we go.
Like a Band-Aid. Woo! Oh my God, that was less of a Band-Aid, and that was more of like pulling off the skin part from ribs.
Ow!
You know what I'm talking about, like
the air.
You know what I'm talking about, right, listeners? You know that like that film, like that meat film on the bottom of like spare ribs. You yank that off. That was like what happened here.
The wind, it just hurts the exposed like muscle tissue.
I don't know. I think it feels pretty good.
Ow. Okay.
There is a lot of blood though.
Okay, we're gonna have to skedaddle slowly now.
All right, let's just use some of Stu to help patch up this, and let's go see Freak
idea.
at the Free Clinic.
That's a great idea. I'm gonna powder. It
Ah.
burns, but there's relief. There's relief after.
Ah, it's like a medical burn. It's like aloe.
Okay, it is. It is.
Hey, Stu, are you alive?
Hello, Stu.
Just a little longer now.
Oh, that's good. Well, we hope you bleed out.
Yeah. But thank you for the dust. My back of my thighs feel a lot better.
Yeah, see you later, you fucking racist.
And yeah, he is a racist. And thank you again. We hope you feel a lot better. Hopefully, after listening to this, I certainly do. But
I feel 10 pounds lighter.
I feel about 5. I'd say I feel about 5 pounds. I think. You know what we can do though? After we get back from the free clinic, guess what we can throw onto a fire and feed ourselves with?
The wood?
The skin that we just left down there.
Oh,
That's
man, we
edible.
can make our own personalized bacon.
That's edible right there. Edible arrangements.
There's a lot of hair to chew around, though.
We can shave it. We can mess with it while we're at the hospital and stuff. We got plenty of time. Thank you very much again. Boxcar Buddies on all the social media stuff, and we'll be back again next week. Toodles.
Bye.
If you're going to sit on a chair for a long time, do ventilate.
I think I'm not going to be sitting for a while.
Can we get up now?
No!
Shut